Hey, just a quick one. I was just scrolling through YouTube as you do, and I saw one of Michael Salla's video with JP, and very interesting because I just kind of quickly, listened to parts of it, and he speaks about on one of his missions seeing these giants, these sleeping giants. The thing that doesn't make sense to me is he's saying that they're like 7 foot, 8 foot. Well, they're not giants, in my opinion. But it's just interesting because I literally shared my own experience, memory mission, with, I believe it was a secret space program mission, because they do use me. I don't trust them, but they use me. And I'm completely out of my control as well, guys. I just want to say I don't willingly want to work for these groups again. Contracts have been signed under mind control, drugs, manipulation, and half the time it's just my not my this actual body, but they take my consciousness and put it in my clones. And sometimes these experiences I have don't make sense, and you know. But, like I say, I have these experiences. Sometimes I have a lot of information and other times I don't. Some people have a better memory recall than others. Sometimes I have great memory recall in the sense of, I can remember everything from A to Z, the details and everything. Other times I just get scenes or just small memories. Or I'll come back from an experience and a lot of that memory is being erased, and so I only remember bits. This particular experience being one of them. So I believe it was a secret space program mission, and I don't know if it was in the future or what. I don't know, because they do that. We can go into the past, the future, alternate worlds, realities, and all sorts. I've got the technology to do this. And so in this experience, I already shared it. In fact, I did a compilation actually, and it was in there, a compilation of all my memories, the small bits that wasn't enough to format, to put in a proper, a fairly decent length video in its own. So, I'll do another compilation of memories as well in the future. So I just put it in there. It's only short, the memories, but basically we came down on the ship, descended the ship, and in the woods we came out, and quite different to what JP describes, but nevertheless, I think it's interesting. And so we come out. I'm part of a very small team. I'm identical to me. I'm just healthier, slimmer, younger. My consciousness, I'm fully aware, of course. And I'm with at least 8 people. And there was one man with us. He was like, I don't know, I can't think of the name right now, but he was like the leader. He was the one running this particular mission, the one giving the orders, and we was there as part of this mission. And from what I got was we were just there to monitor, collect data, intel, just observe this giant. Now the giant I saw was definitely not 7 or 8 foot tall. Giants come in all kinds of sizes, but I wouldn't class a giant as 7 or 8 foot, would you? I wouldn't. So interesting. Though the giant I saw, it was between 70 to 80, possibly 100. I know it sounds insane, foot tall. And I've never been one for giants. There's some movies, isn't there, with giants, old classics and stuff. In fact, my dad used to love watching all that. It just used to bore me to death. I never really wanted to ponder down that lane area, really. It never really fascinated me. I do believe they're real and are real. I do believe there are sleeping giants. Go by many names. I believe there's both fallen giants, positive giants, negative giants, and I believe they've been here. And there's petrified giants as well. And we've heard over the years that they're waking up, they're in stasis, they're going to awaken at a certain point in time, and it's all going on, guys, isn't it? Reptilians, Dracos, frigging, oh my God, everything that's happening now with the Epstein, all that's the Satanism, giants. I think I said that. You know, and sometimes I still have to, my ego has a hard time wrapping its head around these things, but we know it's real. The truth is all going to come out in the end. So I don't feel so crazy now. Because I know my experiences are real. And so I remember sharing my experience. I'll carry on with in a minute, guys, with with what else happened in this experience. Not a lot really from memory. But I shared it on my YouTube on the post. So yeah, I think it was about 3 weeks ago. And I actually put in the post, funny enough, I know I wasn't on my own in this mission. Someone else must remember. Now, I didn't see JP there. I do have memories of seeing JP's face, both actually being JP, whether he has memory or not. They don't want us to know that sometimes we have missions with certain people, especially if we're being used by negative groups, because then, of course, if we come together and share, if we come together and share our experiences, well, then, of course, that's, in a sense, kind of like, well, it's some kind of proof, isn't it? It's one thing having memories of missions, but then when another person comes together and shares similar all the time and is very close together, having memories and emissions of the same things, then it means we're onto something. And so we are being used by these nefarious groups. So is JP, and but I'm also being used by the positive side, call them white hats, whatever. They go by many names. And it's interesting that JP uses those words as well, black hats, white hats and stuff. I know it's quite cliche, but, we've got positive groups, got negative groups, whether you want to give them those names or what, and I know I'm part of both. Like I say, I am a double agent. And this is why I don't get a lot of access to my memories, because otherwise I'm going to be sharing them. So this is why I only get bits of information. So, it's good when, so a lot of time when I share my experiences, I'll do a bit of research and I'll find something to kind of back up my claims a little bit. Or just some kind of evidence of something. If you want to see that as evidence or not, it's up to you. But for me, a lot of time I have these experiences. Of course, I have no idea that certain things are real, or certain things have taken place. And sometimes if I look in the right places, I'll find something that it's like, it validates me, my experience. It's not that I need personal validation, because I know my experiences are real, but if I can find something, then it just helps. It just helps other people as well. Like, okay, well, maybe her experiences are real. Like I said, I never wanted to share my experiences ever. Never ever, because I know I sound crazy and I don't have proper proof or evidence. So, but my higher self, when I was speaking to my higher self, my family, I said, so how can I prove that my experiences are real? And they said, it will be the timing of when you share things. You'll share things and other people will have had the same or similar experiences. Or you'll just share something and then all of a sudden it's on social media. For instance, I had a psychic session. I know I'm harping on about it, but it's a perfect example. 3 months ago, and what I got was, there's going to be documents and files to be released. What else did they say? People are going to be angry. People are going to be shocked. It's going to be one huge rude awakening. Again, it's just other things like that. And that was only 3 months ago. And look where we're at now with all this stuff coming out, documents and files. Obviously, it was about the Epstein stuff. And some other bits in there, in that psychic session about Trump and stuff like that, the New World Order, and, and just different things. So I did go off a little bit earlier. So yeah, I have seen JP in my memories and experiences. Both the real JP, again, he's got clones, whether he knows it or not. So it's you what you want to believe. And they're using him. They're using him and taking his consciousness, putting it in clones. And I've had an experience with him basically where he came to my house, and I did actually reach out to JP. He read the messages, but he completely ignored me. But I didn't expect anything more, anything less. Sorry, because he doesn't know me from Adam or Eve, and he probably just thinks, I don't know, I'm full of shit or something, and I don't blame him. But anyway, yes. So yeah, I saw him. He came to the house and delivered a message, and I've shared that. That's actually on my video list. So if you want to check that out, then yeah, go and check that out. So and they've also, in other memories and experiences, there's literally been reptilians, sorry, draconians, and reptilians, mostly the Dracos though, shapeshifting to look like JP to throw me off and use his face to manipulate me. So the thing, I don't know this, but I do. I know I know the difference because I've dealt with them all my life. But anyway, interesting. So yeah, before JP actually showed his face, even though he, as it turned out, he actually had a personal Facebook account all along, and he was saying, "Oh, I can't show my face. I've got to hide myself and this, that, and the other." Yet he'd got another Facebook that he'd had for years where he was showing his face and his family and everything. So he didn't think that one through, did he? But whatever. I never knew that. I only found that out when everyone else found out, saying, "This is JP, he is on Facebook, he's not hiding his face, blah, blah, blah." But of course, I saw his face. Well, the first experience I had, he actually had his helmet on, and I saw his eyes. And I remember his eyes, long eyelashes, big brown eyes, and I could kind of psychically perceive and see how the rest of him looked. And I described that to him in one of the messages that I sent to him. I don't know, maybe he was like, how does she know? I really don't know, guys, what he thinks, to be honest. And quite frankly, I don't care. I really don't care. I don't care for any of them lot. I keep myself to myself, but I can't help, if I have these memories and experiences with some of these individuals. It's hardly surprising because a lot of my labs here, whether our faces are recognised or not in the YouTube world, whether we have big channels or not, it's not unusual for us to have similar or same experiences or being on mission with other MyLabs. We see it often, and they come together, they share their shared experiences, and I've had shared experiences with other MyLabs that aren't on social media, and some are that on social media, and perhaps we may do a video in the future and share that. They're quite busy at the minute, so but just keep an eye out, and we'll share our shared experiences. I've got on my playlist of other shared experiences I've had with others. So again, it just helps validate, um, you know, each other's experiences, and kind of bring some kind of proof, to our viewers. Now, in my experience with JP, and my memories, we're pretty close. But again, he probably won't even remember, he probably won't even believe it, because that's the thing as well. We all have alters. It may not be the version of JP that you're seeing right now on Dr. Michael Salla, and who I was speaking to, it could have easily been one of his alters, sorry. So, and all that's deliberate as well, because we're not supposed to know that we've got alters. And when we are having missions with people, they don't want us to know and figure out that we've been working together or having the same missions. So it's another reason why there's so many altars as well. It's just, again, to try, kind of keep everything secret as much as possible. But we are realizing we've got altars. We are realizing that all our altars are in different groups, both bad, the negative side and the positive side, programmed, ordered to do bad things and good things. And yeah, it's insane, guys. It is insane. I know it sounds crazy, but really, with what's going on in the world, I really don't sound that crazy anymore. Really don't. Anyway, let's get back into what I saw in this experience. So it wasn't really a lot, guys. I'm sure if I had my full memory, it'd be a lot. But I got enough to know and get the gist of what was going on. So this giant we saw, it was bigger than I'd say 7 or 8, possibly 9 stories high building. And I remember seeing it. I didn't get a clear visual, so I couldn't really give you too much detail. But I know it was humanoid. It was tall. The ground was shaking, and we had to kind of stay out of its way. We didn't, we weren't there to obviously be seen. So we were kind of like just hiding, and I saw it moving from the buildings, near the trees, just moving around, and I just get glimpses of it, through the buildings and the trees and stuff. And I don't, it doesn't make sense why, because why there was these buildings, I don't know, but there wasn't people there. I don't know if this was like an old town, an old I don't know, an old town or something. It was kind of like in the middle of nowhere, but there were not a lot of buildings, but there were a few buildings. One looked like a hotel or something. Um, what else was there? Just, yeah, like hotels, maybe like a, no, I wouldn't say it was like an old resort. I don't know, but there was definitely like a hotel there, and I figured that out because when we went inside there, and there were just rooms and rooms and rooms of like, beds, um and he got that hotel vibe. The only thing was, it was like everything was all dusty, it looked like it'd been sat there for years, like no one had used this hotel for years. And I remember seeing a lot of dust and sand around everywhere, and everywhere was filthy. And yeah, we were made to stay there overnight, which was weird. But yeah, we ended up finding a room to stay in. I remember opening the cupboards, finding some towels or bedding or something, and luckily I found some, sheets that were fairly clean, I guess, because they've been kept in the cupboards. And I dusted the bed off, and made the bed up as best as I could. And I remember walking around, and I actually caught the boss, if you like. He was a lot older than us, because we all looked like we was in our early to mid 30s. I mean, I'm 39, but we looked a lot younger. And what we was wearing like an all-in-one type, not suit. How can I explain it? It looked typical, like what you'd see Palladians, Nordics wear. Very skin tight, thin material, but it kept us warm. And I'm pretty sure it was black, like what we was wearing. It was all in black, and grey. You think I would remember, guys? But as time goes by, I lose little fine details like that. It's very normal. And but anyway, I just remember that much. It was very thin material. It was skin tight. It was all wearing the same except for our boss. I say boss because I don't know what we called him. Um, we didn't even call him by names. And yeah, like I say, it was like almost like a leotard all in one. We didn't have any weapons or anything like that. It was quite basic, really. Like I say, we were there to just collect information, data, just record. And that's what we was doing. I remember we was recording what we were seeing, watching its movements, just recording and collecting anything, and that's what we did. So I couldn't tell you if this giant was negative or positive. I just knew that we was there to collect intel, data, and information. And so I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. What was our agenda? I say our agenda. I was just following orders, but whoever sent us, I believe it was a secret space program, whatever their agenda was for us doing this, I really don't know. I wish I did know, and who knows, perhaps people who I were on that mission with may come forward one day and I may bump into them. Who knows, because oftentimes when we are, in our personal lives, we often gravitate towards one another and find one another. And this is when we start realizing, oh, we've had the same experiences. For instance, a guy called Michael, he was on my channel. I can't remember, I think I reached out, yeah, I reached out to him. And I said, like, I feel like I know you. I wouldn't surprise me if we've had missions together, and then some time Months later, he reaches out and it tells me he has memory of us both being taken by the MI6 or CIA, I can't remember. I shared that, and describing, he was there, I was there, and Michael Cameron, his name is a lovely guy, and he shares his own experiences on his Facebook and stuff. In fact, he was just in a documentary as well not too long ago. So yeah, he's in England as well. But anyway, he's a lovely guy. That's what I'm saying. Like we find each other. We're just drawn to each other energetically. And I know this isn't really important in the whole scheme of things. I mean, it might not. I mean, might not be now, but who know? Who knows? We don't know everything that's going to unfold in the future. I'm not saying we're going to see all these giants walking around, you know, but at the same time, you just don't know. Anything is possible. We may hear about these giants perhaps somewhere, not just on YouTube, somewhere else, maybe talked about. Who knows? People might start getting video footages of these giants, and then people will be talking about it. Who knows? There's always a reason why I have these memories. And at the time of me sharing them, it might not make sense, it might not be important, but in the future, these things may be talked about more. People might see these things, and so it just helps. Again, bring some kind of proof and credibility to my claims, to my experiences, because that's kind of really how the only evidence really we're going to get. But yeah, no, I did. I checked with my guys, my family. I was like, how am I going to prove these things? And then they basically just said, it's a timing of things. It's you'll share something and someone else somewhere you'll bump into or hear about, they've had the same or similar experiences. Things will be parallel. It's all about timing and things like that. Because other than that, we can't get proof. We can't. And if you're lucky enough to get any kind of proof or photos or video footage, then 9 times out of 10, what happens? They get taken out, they get suicided, they get harassed. This is why, when they use us, a lot of us don't have memories, and if we do, we have very little, because the public are not supposed to know about this. Okay, it's all meant to be a secret. But as I mentioned in my previous video, my labs that have implants, and they're not always physical as well. That's another thing. Well, if you say you've got these implants, where's your evidence? Well, I don't even know where to go, for starters. 2, I don't have the money. And so yeah, there's that. And there was something else I was going to say as well. But they're not all physical. They are interdimensional implants. They are energy implants, frequency implants. They're not always physical. And so my labs are riddled with them. But I believe humans, all of us, have got them for different reasons. We've all got programs that are dismantling. And so my labs are coming more into memories because of a lot of these programs, and implants are weakening, frazzling out, whatever, breaking down. There's certain different implants for different things. For instance, there'll be an implant in my mind, and that will help, and that's what's suppressing, blocking my memories, for instance. And so I'm using that as an example because that's what happens. It's weakening, and so because of that, I'm able to get access to my memories. Things like that. So a lot of my labs are going to start coming into their memories. Watch this space, guys. You're going to. We already know that. I'm not. There's loads of my labs. You hear about it. There's so many all the time interviewing people, but we're going to see a lot more faces we don't know, names we've never heard of, and they're all going to come forward, and they're going to start being interviewed and sharing their experiences more and more and more and more. And there's so many my labs. I have no idea they're my labs. And so when we come together, even more than what we are already, people are going to start realising, shit, these people have been through something. Their experiences were real. I mean, what are the chances, of so many people being in the same place at the same time, or having the exact same experiences or similar, or they're all coming out roughly around the same time, sharing again same or similar experiences. You know, that's how it works. And I just want to quickly say, out of respect, I've got no beef or issues with JP. I don't know him in my personal life. He doesn't know me in his personal life. He has no memories, or perhaps he does, but most likely not, of seeing me. And that's very common, as I mentioned, and what I've just talked about. But you know, he's been used. He's been weaponized. He's been used like all of us. And I believe he is being used on both sides as well. I generally do. And so I know a lot of people that I was reading the comments on this video, and they're like, "Oh my God, he's not very articulate. You can tell he's lying because, you know, you can see him thinking of what he's going to say." And I just want to say, you know, that isn't because it is full of. It's not because it's bullshit, and it's very common for my labs. We struggle to. We have a lot of brain fog. We have a lot of trouble accessing our memories. We get a lot of blocks all the time. The glasses he wears is because a lot of us are sensitive to light. I don't know what, I can't explain that, but a lot of my labs are sensitive to light. So I am. I can barely look at the camera when I'm talking. I don't know if it's because what they've put us through or what, but we're very sensitive to the light. You know, people like, oh, he says lying, he's not holding eye contact. They've done it with me as well. Her eyes are fleeting all over the place. She's not staying focused. She's fidgeting. That's a sign of lying. No, it's because I'm either scanning the room, because we've been trained that way. I struggle with eye contact anyway because I'm neurodivergent. If you look up neurodivergent symptoms, we're easily distracted, and a lot of our eyes dart around the place. You know, but we are trained to scan the place as well, to scan our surroundings and environment as well. We're sensitive to light. That's also another neurodivergent trait. And so, yeah, so I suppose you're going to get that, aren't you? You're going to get people that are, you know, going to be mean. Guys, I know it's not important, but, you know, you never know. We don't know. We kind of know, some of us know, believe how the future's going to unfold. But in regards to other things, giants and things like that, you know, they're real. They are in stasis. I do believe there are positive ones here and negative ones here. I know some of them have been weaponized, some of them have been used, some of them are innocent, some of them are benign, some of them are evil, some of them are lovely. And they come in all heights. You know, a lot of them are petrified. You know, literally in the mountain, like petrified giants looking like mountains. They're not just giants. There's so many strange looking petrified things that look like mountains, or, you know, unusual looking things and stuff. So they're here. They really are here. I do believe that it's stuff about these giants, not stuff that's already out, you know. But it's not in our faces. You got to find it. You got to research it to know about these giants, you know. Or you might see the odd YouTube video here and there, or I don't know, the odd person speaking about it. But I mean, in the future, I believe, yeah, I believe it's possible. I believe that we will be told that these giants are real. Just like, you know, we've been lied about everything. Everything that's been hidden from us is all going to come out, giants included. So there you go. But anyway, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you all, and I'll speak to you in a new upload. Take care, guys.